more public input opportunities, as well as more direct notice to the property owners and or residents that it would be actually involving. So the previous, I don't have that in front of me. I was just gonna if you could read what the what it states, what the ordinance reads now, please.
This one right here?
What it reads now.
Oh, what it reads now.
Correct, today in the UDC.
Okay.
Is your microphone on just for,
I mean, currently, the definition of historical district, as found in the UDC 8.17.7, reads as follows: "A historical district above designated shall include all building sites or lots and all structures, houses, or other buildings facing any of the streets on the perimeter of the area."
okay. And so that's what it reads currently and what it has read since it was.
The 80s.
Right, since it was inception. So it was always the intention of the ordinance that it would be what it is that we're proposing for the change language. But from a legal standpoint, facing has been challenged to only mean facing the district rather than
The address.
The assessed property address,
facing.
correct.
Right, so it was our intention to clean up the ordinance and fulfill its original intention, and using more verbiage to be more precise and inclusive of all of the possible language, hopefully that.
Right.
And did you want me to read that into record?
And so, yeah, I mean, and I can hand the meeting over to Ryan. I was just,
Ryan, did you want me to read that into the record of what we're
Yes, if
proposing to change it to?
you don't mind, please.
So we're proposing to change UDC 8.1.7 from what was previous read to be changed to: "The historical district above designated shall include all building sites or lots and all structures, houses, or other buildings on a building site or lot touching any of the streets on the perimeter of the area. It is the intent of this definition to include all properties which are diagonally opposite, in parentheses, catty corner, from the intersection of streets on the perimeter of the area."
Thank you. Thank you. So,
and this is one of 4 outside of outside and including of our regular meeting, and some are tied together with our regular meetings, but for public information.
correct.
And input, we have, can you read off also the dates and times and places of occurrence for including?
For this public forum, for the
This
public
same
forum?
thing, yeah.
Yes. So we have obviously the public forum this evening, starting at 5 here in the council chambers. And this is March 16th, 2023. We will be holding another public forum on Friday, May 19th, 2023 at 11 a.m., also here in council chambers.
Thank you. So you've already read in what the proposed amended UDC ordinance is. You have a copy of the letter that was distributed to the property owners.
And how it was delivered and.
Okay, so these letters, this one in particular is just one of the template letters. This was to a property occupant. There was also one sent to the actual property owner as per the assessment. I also went so far as to if the assessment gave different names for people for that same address, went to the Secretary of State and found different addresses for different property owners on that as well. They all got sent certified mail.
Okay.
I've received probably, I would say, I've received about 75 to 80% of those green cards back. Of the, I would say probably 29, I believe, that were sent out. And then the other one, then also, I did 2 go-rounds. A week and a half ago, I put it actually on the property, a notification on the property, and then.
On the front door, mailbox? or
Yeah,
how do you-
if they were open, I brought it in, otherwise, it was put on, like, taped to the front door or put in a mailbox for the occupant.
Right.
For the property owner, it was actually sent to them. If they were one and the same, they got several notices,
Right.
unfortunately. So the letter says, you are receiving this letter because the property you occupy or own at blank is located on the district perimeter and will be impacted by proposed upcoming changes to the language in the Hammond Unified Development Code, UDC, Section 8.1.7. The Hammond Historic District Commission is working to re-clarify what the 1980s establishing ordinance term, quote-unquote, "facing" means regarding properties that are located on the perimeter of the historic district. The term "facing" was previously redefined in 2015 by the City of Hammond, which unincorporated structures previously considered in the district for the past 35 years. Specifically, the proposed language change would determine if your property is included in the Hammond Historic District. The current language in the UDC,
Right.
the historical district above designated shall include all buildings, sites, or lots, and all structures, houses, or other buildings facing any of the streets on the perimeter of the area. The proposed UDC language and definition changes. The historical district above designated shall include all buildings, sites, or lots, and all structures, homes, and other buildings on a building site or lot touching any of the streets on the perimeter of the area. It is the intent of this definition to include all properties which are diagonally opposite, paren, catty corner, and paren, from the intersection of streets on the perimeter of the area. The language will also clarify that facing does not include the rear side of parcel lots that are not abutting or adjacent to perimeter streets. Those properties that are proposed to be reincorporated will be required to follow the Hammond Historic District guidelines. A public forum was scheduled on August 19th and August 23rd, 2021. Virtual Zoom forums were held on August 12th and August 24th, 2021. The UDC request received the approval of the Planning and Zoning Board on October 7th of 2021 and was formally introduced at the October 27th, 2021 City Council meeting. The City Council, however, determined that further notice was needed to be given to property owners and allow for them to come forward, ask questions, and receive further information regarding the effect of this ordinance change on their property and voice any concerns. The council tabled the matter until further notice was provided. Public forums are scheduled for May 16th, 2023, beginning at 5 p.m., and May 19th, 2023, beginning at 11 a.m., both located in the City Council chambers at 312 East Charles Street, to present and inform property owners of the process and its effects prior to asking the City Council to approve the language change sometime in the coming months. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact moi.
And have you gotten any phone calls or emails or other correspondence from anyone directly?
So the only correspondence I have received, it was, I did receive a phone call from Mr. Joe Wong about his property over on, I believe it's facing Kate, it's not facing Kate Street, I don't have the address right in front of me. He has the apartments that are across from the Kate Street Park.
Okay.
And his whole thing was, I just want to know if, one, does this affect currently any permits that I have pulled, because I am making renovations as we speak to both the interior and exterior of the building. And two, I'm really excited about being a part of the historic district if this does pass. And if you would like me to paint the wooden portion of my building a different color, I would love to come before you.
So, okay, right, and, so just for clarification,
Yes.
his property is on the corner of Oak Street?
Oak and Kate.
And no, and,
not-
no, Oak and Kate run parallel.
Okay.
So Oak Street and,
Yes.
Robert.
Charles. yeah,
Charles.
Charles.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's Charles Street.
Yeah.
So, they're facing Oak Street right now.
Correct. Yes.
And that's what, so the,
I'm confused.
that's where,
Yeah, his apartments, the front door of the actual front door, the assessed property address of those apartments is an Oak Street address.
Really?
Yes.
How could that possibly?
Wait, are we talking?
wait, real quick.
The restaurant facing.
Yeah, the restaurants.
The apartments are in the middle of the block.
Yes.
No, I'm talking about the no,
there's
we're
not
talking
those
about the apartment.
apartments. Okay, wait, this is, still has to be done in the right decorum,
Right, yeah,
okay?
yes. No.
So,
No, his
No.
apartments are, if you go, actually, so if you go past, it's actually Robert, it's not Charles. If you go past
That's what I
Nikki's
thought, it was Robert.
office,
Okay, so we're talking.
it's behind, so you have Nikki Muscarella's law firm, and it's the building right behind that faces, well, doesn't face Kate Street, but it faces Oak Street. The side of the building faces Kate Street Park.
right, and the building itself faces east,
Correct, yes.
yes.
Yes,
it's
all the-
about
all the doors to enter
four
the
or
building.
five apartments.
Yes.
It's not, it's right next to Parkside Gardens. I think it's Parkside, is that the name of it?
Yeah.
The bigger
I know
apartments.
Parkside, right.
Right.
That face Kate Square Park.
Right.
His is like a brick.
There's one to the side
Yeah.
that faces Oak Street Park.
He's
I
right
mean,
on.
Oak Street, North Oak Street,
Right.
but the side of the building faces south.
Oh, that's right.
He's
Okay,
right on the
I-
corner.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I was thinking of the other building.
No,
When you said Kate Street.
It's
One-
the corner of Oak Street and Robert.
and Robert, yes.
Facing east.
Correct. So, and the only other person who reached out to me was Brian Voorhees, merely requesting that I show him on the map that was given to everyone, that was either provided to
Yeah.
them via mail or whatever, where exactly his property was located on that. So I did send it back with circling his property so that he knew exactly where he was located, and I
And that
didn't.
property is on the corner of Cherry and East Morris. There's the Stoa Building,
Yes, that is correct.
Cherry Street,
Right.
Yes,
and then the
yes,
Basically,
insurance
catty-corner
office.
to the Exxon station.
yes.
Correct.
So,
And those were the only two phone calls or communications I received, yes.
Okay.
all right, well, now that we've presented the information,
Yes.
especially since we're live streaming, I will move to public input. And I think we have a member of the public that would like to.
Yeah, George Anthony, 308 West Church Street. I have two properties that this affects. 300 East Thomas, which is Catacorner, and 305 East Charles, First Christian Church, which is Catacorner. And my question is, how is this affecting churches? Are there any current churches? Is the Episcopal or the Presbyterian Church currently in the historic district? And if so, how has it affected them? And
I'm not sure if I think the Presbyterian Church
Presbyterian churches,
is in the district.
and so is the First Baptist.
And so, yes,
First Baptist Church is
as
also
well.
in the district.
Yes.
Since I've been on the commission, I think since 2010, I think that's right. The only thing from the Presbyterian Church that's come before us is their, not the church itself, but some of their other properties. I think they're-
Right.
I'm going to use the wrong term, the rectory. Do they call it the rectory?
I don't know if that's what they call it.
It's an auxiliary
The-
building to
right,
their,
yes.
yeah.
That's come before us, and it's about renovations and what they can do to the exterior and whatnot, and I think everything they were wanting to do to that, to renovate it
Right,
and restore that building was acceptable to us.
okay.
The only other thing, I think,
First Baptist did come,
for a sign, they wanted to,
they wanted
They wanted to
a
change their
LED sign, like a moving.
current sign to a moving sign. Now, that's that's against our guidelines. And,
But they did want awnings and that was all approved.
right, they wanted awnings and all that, that was all fine, and a lot of the additions, you know, I think they
Roofing.
did some exterior
Roofing.
work.
And both
That
of
was
them have
fine.
come before us. I believe both of them were approved in-house.
Correct.
Because of Ida and doing
Oh,
roofing
yeah, that, but
repairs.
this was before that.
Right, but I'm just saying, since then,
Right.
we have heard from both of them, and you're asking how that affected. We approved their applications in-house because it was
No,
in-kind
for-
repairs.
For
but-
clarifying.
Yes.
We don't just approve church
Right.
applications in-house. It was strictly because they were IDA repairs. in
Correct,
kind,
right.
And so, yeah.
Right, in-kind
It
repair.
wasn't just because they were churches. I just was saying that they have come again before us, other than those other times.
I don't know if we're answering your question.
Well, I mean, part of my job was to come before y'all and ask how this would affect us.
Right.
And that's what I'm kind of wanting to know.
Nothing
How is it-
unique to a church, other.
Well, for instance, we have temporary signs that we put up whenever we're promoting food drive, whenever we're doing children's music camps.
Those are
Temporary
allowed.
The
signs don't
historic
come before
district is
us.
really weird about what kind of signs you can put up and all that.
Temporary
Well, temporary
signage is
signs
allowed.
are allowed, and there is a time duration, and I think it's 90 days.
It's currently 90 days, yes.
Yeah.
So consecutive or
Yes.
90 days total for a specific temporary
In 1
sign.
year.
90 consecutive days for a 12-month period of time is how it reads in the guidelines, but if
Right.
you read, yes, yeah.
So, but you don't come before us to get an approval for a temporary sign.
Okay,
Once it's observed that you have one, we start a clock and check that.
all right.
I think if First Christian Church is fairly good about, once you have an activity
Yeah.
that's finished, y'all take those signs down.
Right. But, we just wanted to make, that was a concern.
Right.
The community garden was a concern. They wanted to know if that was going to be affected in any way.
It shouldn't
I
be.
don't think so.
The only time that we really deal with anything landscape-wise is if you were to remove like a large tree, and then it would have to be proven that it's, unhealthy and a detriment or whatever, and then you would replace it with things. So we don't deal really with landscape gardening, that stuff.
Okay.
Right, because I don't know if you recall, when the DDD was over where.
The feed and seed
Where the feed and seed was, they started up a community garden, that, they came before us for that as well as for the shading structures, and we worked with them about what was acceptable or not.
I wasn't sure if
In
they
that
were in a
area.
historic district or not. I
That
knew
piece
they
of
were
property, that
DDD,
parcel
but
is,
not-
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, what.
Like
we
if you
would-
were to build a structure over the garden, like a pergola or something like that, and it doesn't mean that it would be not allowed, but it would just need to be approved.
okay. And it's anything that's visible or,
Visible from the street or affecting the building envelope.
okay,
So if y'all were replacing your roof,
right,
if it's in kind, that's one thing. If you're just taking a shingle roof and replacing it with a shingle roof,
okay.
that goes administratively through the process. But if you were
All right.
replacing that with something different,
That brings up another issue. We are in the process of replacing a 60, 70-year-old asphalt roof with a TPO roof.
it's a low slope, like a flat roof, basically, or is it?
It's a flat
This,
Is it on
this,
the,
on every building on the church.
this
The only one that's
ordinance
not
would
flat
not be
is the sanctuary.
going through until June,
yeah.
end of June, right?
And if you
Anyway.
have something in progress right now,
Mm-hmm.
this,
We're talking about for the final change of this ordinance not being finalized until the end of June.
Okay. Well, we'll start sometime in June. I don't know
well,
when.
but you would have already gotten you still have to
Permits
pull a
and stuff like
permit to
that.
do that.
Right.
Right.
So that, you have to be permitted for the city, but.
And, yeah, whenever we say like in-kind, repairs can be done in-house approval, you still have to, do the application. And just to understand like what the purpose of that is because, and we've worked really, really hard in the last few years on, maintaining our inventory, meaning the information that we have on all of us, the structures within the district. And so that in 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 years from now, whoever is in charge of that property can use the historic district as a reference. It's not so much as like the painting, like we were talking, he said, you'll paint it whatever color you want. It's not, there's a few little guidelines, restrictions to fall between for that kind of thing, but we also want to know the color, because if you're not owning the building in 20 years and somebody wants to repaint it, they can come to the, this commission, and we'll have all that information for them. It's a wealth of knowledge for the future. And we worked really hard on digitizing a lot of stuff that we had just, photographs, things that will deteriorate. We've worked really hard on the preservation of that information for people.
Right.
So just the updating of it. You may not know, if you bought a building this year, well, I don't know when the roof was replaced last. Well, you can, in the future, you'll be able to say,
Okay.
Well, I think the other important thing too is even when, if you become part of this, is that when you're going to get a roof and you change, like we have an architect, it's actually, it's a counsel to say, hey, this could be better for you in the long run than otherwise. Like me understanding as a building, like Ryan, you've been a resource for me, just in what I'm putting up, So you have to go through a process that's very, for a roof, for example, it's just you come before to present what you're doing, and that way we can make sure that you're doing things appropriate for the building that maybe a contractor may have missed or whatever. You have people that are well-rounded in understanding what we need to do to
Right,
preserve your building.
because sometimes there are things that are proposed for
It's
certain
not.
buildings.
It's more of a, how do we, okay, so what is the best solution here kind of deal? So it actually can be a very big benefit. I feel like it's been for me.
I know there's a lot of pros. but
Yeah.
I was asked to make sure I came and asked if there were any cons.
Right.
that
I don't
I'd
see
be
that
aware
as
of.
far as what you're talking about, anything that would be,
I would say the cons are always gonna be due process, is just having to actually do the work.
Take a little longer,
It's a little
Yeah.
more
a
time,
little bit more
but-
paperwork to get
But the
things
pro
done.
is if you're owning a building that's been around there a long time, and you're gonna make, you have like a second set of eyes to make sure things are done right, so you're not gonna pay more in the long run, or.
And y'all have a fantastic resource there,
Yeah.
in that building. And the maintenance of that building, I know is,
But, and as far as what, it doesn't apply to us, but for other property owners, what's the millage on the historic district?
well, there's no additional millage that's
So-
involved.
the historic district, the millage comes with the DDD.
Yeah.
And you're already in the DDD.
Right.
That's a taxing body, opportunity. So we, as a historic district, are required, in order to have a certified local government, a CLG, and then that lends to other assets like the DDD and things that we have. So this is a part of the city. This is like your planning and zoning.
Right,
You don't pay extra for planning and zoning.
okay,
It's just.
The long-term benefit is increased property values
yeah,
as time moves forward.
right.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but once you're in the historic district, then you have the opportunity for tax incentives and grants
It
as well.
depends on the
Depend-
National Registry
on-
District
yes.
and your,
And it's tied to the DDD and the National Register
Right.
District,
Right.
which I'm not sure includes, I think, does it
You're
include?
in it.
You're in the
You're on
National
it.
District, right?
Yeah.
We're in the.
they're
national
an
register.
individual,
We're
Yeah.
individually
You're
national.
individually
Yeah.
listed,
Yeah.
okay.
so is Grace Episcopal.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have access to federal credits.
Right, and, yeah, but the federal credits don't give us, I don't think, according to Mike, give us a whole lot of help.
Really?
The state ones do.
Right.
State ones do.
I know the state
We're
is
gonna,
big.
which we're working on right now, because we're in the process of getting ready to begin a pretty large capital
Right.
improvement, which is why we're kind of a little, seeing what we need to do, because we'll get announced in June whether or not we get accepted for this grant, in which case we're going to start, but most of that work's going to be interior, so.
For
Yeah,
the
we don't
most
have
part,
anything
it's
else.
about, a lot of the things that we see, yeah, there is some construction and additions or modifications that come before us. Most of what comes here is signage, but we also have the opportunity, and to tack on to what John said, is a second set of eyes on the kind of products you're putting on the building, because we have come across those that want to put certain coatings. They don't necessarily want to paint brick, but they want to put a coating on it. And
can be
we've had to flag
detrimental.
it that that's gonna long-term damage the brick or is going to change the appearance of your building.
Won't let it breathe.
Right, and it could trap moisture, things like that.
And I can just give you a personal thing for, I'm in the historic district for my residence, I have a building also my residence, I'm just giving you a personal thing. I had no idea that caulking siding could actually cause it not to breathe and peel. You know, like, when you're having these conversations with an architect and people that are, you know, in front of this stuff, it's gonna help to make sure that you're not gonna be doing something that can hurt you in the long run for your building.
Right.
I mean, it's really more of a protective, the duty is to preserve, so. You know.
And also too, it's a checks and balances with your contractor. We have people that do, you know, maybe they're more focused on new construction and not saying they're not capable of doing something, but they may not be really attuned to what the right thing to do for a historic property is. And that comes in more so with the actual really old structures, the bricks, that kind of thing.
Right, the pre-1930s.
And, I mean, you know, nowadays, people build buildings that are disposable, you know, that they throw away they tear it down in 20 years and build something else new there. We want to hold on to those kind of things. And there's reasons for it. Like I said,
Well, you own a few properties too that are older.
So, okay, all right.
So, yeah, really, the only thing that you would the things that is anything exterior, 360 exterior of the building,
Right,
so.
okay.
Question, how difficult is it, I know y'all got some stained glass that y'all having to repair. How difficult is it to find that?
The closest place is Houston, and we're having to get a guy out of New Orleans and
There's not a lot of people that do that anymore.
I had
looked for a
somebody
year and a
do
half to
ours.
find somebody
in
to
Mandeville.
do it, and he said he would never do it again. He says, he says, I'm kicking myself for taking it. It's taking him twice as long to do as he thought, and it's just, you know,
Did y'all use dependable
So-
glass in Mandeville?
A pane in the glass is the name of the,
They could get me,
yeah.
they could get me one color, I'd have to buy an entire case of their color, of each color at 80 grand per
So,
case. And I had 4 different colors on those narthex.
is it protected, like with a
Plexiglass? No.
panel?
Or any
But
kind
I'm
of glass
thinking about
glazing.
doing
Like a
that on
tempered
the
glass
bottom,
on the,
the bottom 3 feet or so, a plexiglass or something to protect it from,
From the outside?
on the outside to protect
Right,
it from
from
lawnmowers
just
and.
anything random, yeah,
Just be careful
Come
about
up.
trapping moisture.
sure. Yeah,
yeah,
they can leave a gap.
Yeah, well,
Protection.
they're inset a couple inches.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I come to the church the other day and there's Boy Scouts throwing rocks against the wall. And I'm thinking, if you miss by 2 feet, you're gonna break out a sheet of glass like this.
Yeah, that's scary.
So,
Yeah.
yes,
It might be worth it to
yeah,
explore that.
yep. But anyway, my board was curious, so
Okay.
I needed to find out
Well, I
how it would
hope we
affect
put
us.
them at ease.
Yeah.
With this.
I haven't had any issues, so I told them I didn't think there'd be, but not sure how it would affect a church, so, and what churches were involved, so, thanks.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
coming forward. We really appreciate it.
Okay. So we're gonna, we've committed to be
We committed to an hour.
to an hour. So we will remain until 6. And at which time, if we have no other,
And we are not, we don't have a live chat, something going back and forth for YouTube or anything like that, okay? So we have no way of knowing if they have any questions,
no.
okay?
But if they do, they're welcome to,
Commenting, I'm not sure.
If somebody would like to,
they're welcome
send me an
to-
email,
I mean, I'm more than happy to, I believe it's on the agenda that's posted with my email. If someone would like to send me an email with any questions.
I do want to clarify too, which we discussed in the email, but that the map that we have currently is not, right here. I'm assuming.
There are two properties
Yes.
on there that are already in the district that,
Oh.
I'm not,
yeah, that
Oh, that's right.
would have technically not been in, but are now. Because they
Oh.
are front facing. So Stoa, for instance.
oh, right, because they were,
Right.
That's
it
right,
was
because
built.
that map
And
was-
then 107
Faces.
North Spruce,
That's correct.
which was 109 North Spruce, because it was a side-facing
That's a
property
residential property, right.
with the lot in front,
So-
but 107 was built in front of it, but is now a front-facing property.
Correct.
Right.
It is now in the historic district. So, yes, so
Right.
there are
So
two
that
properties
resi-
removed from those
the
22
blue.
properties, correct?
From the blue, as far as
Yes.
the distinction that it would reincorporate.
Yes.
So the property that I was talking about is the property on the corner of Robert Street and North Cypress Street, which was previously the Hammond Feed and Seed. The map that we have is prior to their partitioning of that property. They partitioned the property for the Robert facing
Yeah, they subdivided it.
line, right, and the structure that was there was now utilizing a North Kate Street address. This shows it as one property, so it will be updated by the time that we go to
Correct.
city council, but right now, for clarification
Yeah, I
purposes,
think
that
this
is
map-
that property is partitioned.
This map is from 2021, I believe.
That is correct, yes.
Yeah.
I plan on having a more updated, very visible map once this goes before council.
Right. And on the GIS, the city's GIS website,
Yes,
what we're gonna propose to planning is that if this gets through the whole process and is adopted, that, or even either way, whether it's finally adopted or not, to clarify the hatched area that's on that GIS map, to put that line
Behind the property,
at the back, at the rear of the property, so that it shows.
or the furthermost.
thank you, Mr. Anthon.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
and if y'all have any further questions, just email us.
That way, when you look at it, you can clearly see where the,
Yeah,
What it covers.
it's very difficult to read any of the maps that are currently on the website,
well, they're fairly old.
yeah. I think some redrawing needs to be done.
So, the map can show that, but the actual boundaries should remain the same.
Oh, yeah,
Because then
It's
it'll be
about
like
this-
incorporating facing adjacent to the rear.
Yeah,
of
no,
it.
the
It doesn't-
description, it's
So,
basically
right.
having the hatched area match what the description represents.
Right.
That's what the point is. Because it's a little bit of a misnomer. You just pull up the map and you say, oh, there's the boundary. And you look, even though it might be flagged in
Right,
their
right.
system a certain way, and someone pulls it up and they look, oh, well, it's not showing me.
Right.
It's just a layer, another layer.
Mhm.
Well, anything you can make clearer is going to be much easier.
I am all in favor of
Yeah.
lots, like, too much. Because it always, never enough.
I need to
Somewhere.
get some water.
I know, I'm gonna get some too. I have water.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna make coffee?
Yeah, it might take you about 30 minutes.
I have water anyway. I drink all my water. I made sure I put a lot of ice in it so that I could refill it.
I gotta keep remembering that.
15 minutes. Take a cup with him when he leaves.
I have to remember we're still live streaming. Nobody wants to see that.
You've
Me.
never seen me dance?
No,
You
me,
don't know.
me.
Oh, okay.
You assume I'm talking about you?
I guess I was. I hope it's live streaming and I'm copy over here. There's another camera.
Oh, there is one right there?
Or when someone's standing at the podium.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
It's a picture in picture deal.
Okay. I don't know if you saw, I didn't send that one to you.
Which one?
There's a second map that, that I found that was done, where that color here represents properties that previously submitted to the district.
To be.
No, they submitted for like, applications for COAs in the past. That's what this green represents. But technically, we're not facing, technically we're not because of the representation of the facing line.
But did they,
They didn't learn.
so one, if they didn't, well, they wanted to tell you, but church, right? You know, that they applied, like, you know, with the stained glass and all that. But my question is, did they put in applications prior to 2015? Because if you, the letter, whatever, I said, if you, 2015 is when it changed. Yeah, and it was very, I mean, incorporated, unincorporated properties. So the 80s had one column, and then 2015 is unincorporated properties.
No, it's about when the interpretation is made.
Gotcha.
That's when the interpretation was
So again, we
formalized.
have to do properties that they
And
dropped it.
not by the commission.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was.
I think so. And this is much more.
It was 108.
I know, yeah. Well,
You don't know if you can get double shot, and then you know what I mean?
what I can see, we are, Robert,
Getting old,
where are we?
they just count now.
We're here right now.
The older I get, the more shit happen, though. Like this,
The Andersons.
Yes. And then this area right here, this one right here. Go away, because I'm not getting mine on that. I'm not getting away with that. Make it a long property, and this is guys. And this is what, Jessica's talking about changing, and then this is that, house that has been put up for a while. And this, it's put up, and I'm like, yeah.
What are you talking about?
3 or 4 different residences.
For what?
Up off the street from BBC on North Cypress and Robert. They are rezoning it, and I don't know for what, but currently it's apartments. I mean, it's a big house.
It may be.
It's split up. Yes. Yeah, but it's that house on the corner. It's split up like 3 different places. Here's our building.
Yeah. Is it broken up into apartments?
It is.
wait, that's not what I'm talking about.
No, that's not, I'm thinking of something
It's
else.
very
I'm talking about the
possible.
builder, the block, whatever it is.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of a different, I'm thinking of a different. I'm thinking of a different.
No,
Not this house.
And what's, I was thinking about this, is this should be fixed.
Oh, across the street from there.
No, this is what it is.
No, yeah, but across the street from there, that house.
This is the asset,
That's it, assets, yeah, that's what I was thinking, that's the shit. That's all.
Oh, is it that way? Is they're not working in it? Maybe the one right there.
So where is this space?
And
Well,
that's,
yeah.
this block.
Okay, so is this house, So is this access building?
Yeah, that's
So they are gonna be facing, because like Agent called me and said, you have to check. Because I don't know. where
Well,
they're
yeah,
facing.
yeah, because then they'll be facing the backside of this.
Okay, well, I'm going to that.
And we catty corner from the BBC piece of property over here, plus when this gets.
So this is like a loose block on here.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Yeah. This is nothing, my thought, that,
Yeah. And then this is all this one, nothing right here. And that's Susan's.
This is the apartment you're talking about.
Correct,
yes.
Back to Susan's building.
What,
Not icon.
they just cleared it all out.
They did.
Yeah, so she, no, she contacted me, her and the, gentleman that owns the car shop.
Yeah.
And we were working together to clear out all the brush and debris that was behind the buildings, just to
Just
get
the
all of
around
them.
the windows that are back there, the doors. and stuff.
Probably because of all of that was back there that needs to get done, and so that, now that they've cleared it out, we'll probably have them come in and ask me for windows and stuff like that, because they really wanted to just get it really, that was their biggest thing, was getting it cleaned up. They were really concerned that they needed permission, or people need permission to remove all the
Brush.
other
and-
brush.
Well, if they need help, if it's attached to the building, they might want to
I think it was just all
ask
behind.
about it, not just because you can pull
They,
stuff down.
stuff that was on that building, they take care of it, it used to be good. But it's been handled. Virginia Creek. Very aggressive.
And,
Very aggressive.
yeah, we need to probably make a pass around at some point. We, every few years, couple of years, then we've got, there's a city person, but you can find somebody, ask Ray or somebody with Chippo or whatever, who they would recommend, and get that person to walk around, just walk around the whole district with you one day and mark, because some things are not intrusive. And some things,
the vegetation.
right, so like technically it was just a thing that is totally surface, unless it is, I mean, as long as everything can still breathe, it's fine, but something that is root, like can pedunculate into the.
Yeah, if there's root structure that penetrates into the water, then it will lose some
Yeah.
bricks that will start popping out. So trees, there's certain
Right
vines.
across from the lady.
It's really attorneys more than medical terminology for like
So when this
a
passes,
road
what's the
that
actual
goes
date?
deeper and deeper and further.
Well,
and,
What I'm trying to do is
Every
make
day.
sure we get these meetings, and once we get through these meetings, immediately go to, at least it can get on the agenda.
So it'll be tentatively June.
Hopefully the last meeting in June, yes, is what we're looking at.
John,
What? What? What is it?
your lenses were flat on
Yeah.
the.
Listen, I do worse than that. That's the-
I do way
That's the last, that's the least.
Take care of your things, son.
I would say it did take a few minutes for coffee. Faster, I think.
It's commercial. Same as they would have in a restaurant, and ain't nobody wanting to wait on coffee.
Well, anyway, as I was saying earlier, if anybody has any questions that's watching this on live stream, please feel free to email me at dbold, that's D as in Delta, I-E, B as in Bravo, O-L-D as in Delta, _ H-L @hammond.org.
They're also welcome to join us on, tomorrow for our regular
Our regular
session
meeting.
at 11 a.m. And if they have public input or questions, they can put those forth in public input. But we have another public forum again on Friday, May 19th.
This Friday.
At,
Yeah.
yeah, May 19th, this Friday at 11. So,
We are devoted. Devoted. Again.
be here for another 15 minutes.
We have the proposed, or not the proposed, actually, the motion, I'm putting up on the screen. That was the motion to propose UDC language that was, I guess, read and delivered to and put into the record on Wednesday, July 21st, 2021. I'm guessing we'll be doing another one of these,
Yes.
Another one of what?
another one of these, another motion that shows that we did our public forums, we did our.
Does it need to get, are we expired with planning and zoning recommendation? Because they technically, city council tabled it.
Right.
So I don't think we even need to make a motion within our meeting, because city council tabled it, so the matter is still
Correct.
there. It's not
Yes, and we're not,
closed.
we haven't
it's not-
changed the
Right.
parameters of what we're doing. We haven't changed the motion. We've just gone back to do additional due diligence.
Right, that they
requested by the
request-
council.
Yeah.
So would we need to do another motion that incorporates our additional due diligence?
No, you'll go before council with a proposal,
Ryan went
And-
last time.
or what, okay, it was put in here. So
I'll do it.
Anyway, it doesn't matter who does it, but then just saying that.
Right, yeah.
At the request of the council prior, this was a tabled matter.
We can
until we-
present the additional, we can
Yeah.
present to them the additional steps that we're taking.
And the funny thing is that, I was reading through everything, and I did read the letter, and the facts are correct. I did go back and read all the minutes and all of that, that it was originally brought to council, I believe it was on October. No, I'm gonna
I'll
have to go
trust you.
I think it was like October 29th or October 27th, I think, of 2021. But it wasn't actually tabled until the November 9th, 2021 meeting.
Okay.
So just so that's clarified
Okay.
of the timeline for that.
And it's all the same council members, which I think is important. It's not like the council changed and the previous council had tabled something. Well, and maybe I don't know if there's a limitation on the length, because that's been a year and a half?
That's a question that, that
Yeah, I'd like to
Andre,
clarify that,
yes.
because we don't want to get there and be like, oh, yeah, no, you have to go start over. So
Or the
let's
council
do that
clerk.
along. I mean,
but
I'll check with the clerk, I'll check with Andre, I'll do research myself and see whether or not there's any sort of limitations on how long something can be tabled until something has to actually be,
resubmitted.
right,
as a-
for instances, like permits
it's
are
fine
only good for
either
6
way.
months, so
And-
if we're in that same situation, that would,
Right, it's fine either way.
Right.
It's just, I'd rather know sooner than
yeah, we need
than
to have
later,
that straight.
obviously.
yeah, because, if we need
We're
to make.
still doing the right things.
Yeah, if we need, I'll find out between now and our next meeting on Friday. And if we have a forum on Friday, assuming that everything seems to be going well, we can always have another motion if we had to, if the previous one is no good to bring before council.
Well, you just got to make sure you get on the
Why
agenda,
don't you,
one way or the other.
Wait, a motion in our commission?
Right, yes.
Okay.
To propose the UDC, if the original
We
motion.
may not have a quorum.
I'm saying if we did.
if we did, we could. But that's only if we do.
Right.
Can you find out between now and then? Just to.
I
ask
will
those
find out.
questions, Just to
Absolutely.
verify that.
I will know before Friday. I do know that Regina told me she is planning on being here on Friday.
Okay.
I don't,
I have it in my calendar on
okay,
Friday.
Jessica, Ryan, will you be here on Friday?
Yes.
At 11? Okay, so that's 3.
I think-
Robert will be here, so we have 4. John,
What are we talking about?
about our public forum on Friday at 11?
Friday?
This Friday.
This Friday.
I'm not gonna be
Okay, but so even with Regina, Jessica, Ryan, and Robert, we'll have 4. So if we need to have a new motion, we will have a quorum to vote on that.
It's at 11.
It's at 11, yes.
At
Yes.
12, good thing I checked that. I would have been here at the end of it, just in time to make a motion. I don't know why I had it at 11. I mean, 12. So then tomorrow we have our regular meeting at 11.
Correct.
And then we are going to go from our regular meeting, fall into the public meeting, correct?
Tomorrow?
No.
Tomorrow, no, we just have a regular meeting tomorrow.
Right, and there's no public forum
Oh, okay.
tomorrow. It's just Friday.
Now, if someone.
So we're only
I
doing
think
two.
Brian
I
made
thought we
an
did
announcement, if someone were to come forward from the public to address this.
That's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
As part of the public input section of our
Right,
meeting.
Right.
Then we would
Certainly.
obviously hear them, but the next public forum strictly concerning this will be on Friday.
Right.
How's the coffee, John?
It is.
Would you like to?
I mean, I overflowed the coffee machine, because I was supposed to put water in, I think it just came from that thing. I know, so what does the thing on top then?
In case it doesn't have a water thing.
Yeah, that's when it overflowed, it's all,
When?
the coffee tastes good. What, just now?
It just now overflowed?
Why you getting mad at me?
The mayor and I were sopping up the coffee the last time. It got me.
But the coffee's good, it actually turned out great.
It's because I did not make it. If you are not, if you are not a coffee drinker, I know it seems like something really simple that everyone should know how to make, but if you don't drink it, now I can put the little pods in and do that. I mean, that's simple enough.
It's okay.
It's okay, you bring it.
Until you get an old type drip coffee pot and make coffee, you'd never have real coffee.
That's true. That'll make your hair stand up, though.
No.
My grandparents had those. And I love the smell of it. I just,
I do whole beans and I have a grinder, so I grind coffee every morning.
Oh, you fancy.
Well, it's so much, it's just like so there.
Oh, yeah, well, the flavor, yeah.
I love the smell of it. I can't handle the amount of caffeine that's in it. You can drink decaf. Yeah, I know, listen to us talking about our coffee preferences. All right, everybody, Hammond residents who have been watching us, I just want to say thank you to our commissioners tonight that came out for this public forum, and thank you for the public that showed. Mr. Anthon, I appreciate your input. So, Ryan?
Yes, I will, move to the adjourn. Aye.
Hmm?
We are adjourned.
All right, thank you.